Okay, so I don't think we've done any Duramax videos at this point, so this is going to be a video for the LLY Duramax. Some of this information can be used for the LB7 and the LBZ. Just keep in mind that this particular Duramax is an LLY. Um, so we'll go over some of the changes here. This LLY specifically, the main difference is that it had a I'm gonna mess the name up, like HFP or HPF, whatever, charge pipes and intake, which meant it had like a 5-inch intake or 4.5-inch, whatever. So the math had to be adjusted, and it also was running an LMM CP3 with the LBZ slash LMM fuel pressure regulator. Um, no EGR, and then straight piped exhaust. So, the first thing you see here is changes to the high idle. I don't really need to go over that. That's kind of something that's more or less user preference. Airflow, you can see the change in airflow for the mass airflow, for the pipe size difference. Going from stock intake to this, you need to add about 36% to this. So you take the whole table and just times it by 1.36. There is an equation for it, and basically you need to determine the difference in size of the pipe and multiply it by that. Now, the best way to test it is you have this estimated airflow table, and you will idle around 18 for the total fuel rate, and you'll idle right around 700, right? So this is your window to be in. Or maybe it was 13, I don't know. So when you got a window right around here, okay? And basically, at idle on a normal 60, 70 degree weather day, your mass airflow grams per second should read in this box. So you can keep making adjustments to the mass airflow until the reading reads here correctly or close to this. This will get you very close to where the vehicle should have been stock for the mass airflow reading. Okay. If you have any more questions on that, feel free to ask me. So here's the disable of the EGR. Some glow plug timer changes, whatever, cutoff, RPM changes, this is on you as well. Diesel fueling, there's only a slight increase right here, okay? I leave it 3800 and up, no fuel. This transmission can't take a lot of horsepower, so there's no point in increasing the amount of torque and horsepower given to this engine past a specific RPM if you want to make the Allison live a long time. You can see the changes made here. Just again, small increases. You get too crazy with this table, and it's going to shift like dog shit. It's going to shift bad. Okay, so I can't really go over why it was changed specifically for this. Just know that, I mean, you just look at it and see, okay, there's just some small changes here and there. You could even leave this table stock, okay? Play with it in small amounts, okay? But let the power drop going this way. Do not copy your biggest number and make it all the way across. You can do that on a Cummins. You cannot do that on this truck. It will shift awful, okay? Main injector pulse width. You can see this table isn't fully what I would normally do, okay? But you can see here that we left this area stock and we basically increased a lot of this across the board. But you can see, judging by here, look at the difference in the pulse width changes. This is a lot more even up top, a lot more hard. This number here, 140 and above, you don't want to go over this 2000 mark, okay? Even this might be a little bit too much, okay? So even think about playing with 18 or 1900 there. This is a personal vehicle of mine, so I can go a little bit hotter on it, okay? And then you basically copy and paste that to these tables, or you can make differential changes based on it. Like you can see here, this table is actually lower. I pulled 5% or whatever out of this table for this specific one. You can see again, this is the changes, okay? Basically added some here, added some throughout here, whatever. Um, Again, don't get too crazy with these torque fuel tables, otherwise it's going to shift really bad, okay? I mean, that's all you're doing. You're just adding a little bit, and this is again personal preference. Take however the table is naturally, and you can try to maintain some of that, okay? Um, you can see here I added a little bit more up here, gave a little bit more max torque ability up here. I don't want to have it feel like you hit a wall. Okay, so I add a little bit more max fuel up top, max fuelability up top here, so that way if I happen to hit 3,600 RPMs, it doesn't feel like I ran into a brick wall when it runs out of fuel. But remember, the torque quantity table, I did not change aggressively, so I'm not going to hit this max fuel here at all. I'm not going to. This just makes the transition a little bit smoother when it starts pulling it. Pilot injection quantity, you can see that I did do an increase here just to get rid of just injector rattle, calm it down a little bit. Diesel timing, again, this is something that you're going to play with yourself a little bit more on this. You can see here, I left similar to the factory shape of things, okay? I did not see a reason to have any timing here, got rid of timing, and I don't like to run anything under 10 degrees past this 1800 mark, so that's what I put in here. And obviously from the factory there is a hollow spot here for a reason, okay? I don't know why it's here, so we kept this hollow spot and just gave it a little bit more timing for a bump in fuel economy, and then we played with the timing appropriately. There's nothing too crazy about this. Um, you can see here that I added, again, timing in here, again, to help with injector rattle. I don't like injector rattle or injection rattle. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think it sounds like shit. I added ability to go up to 30 up in this area here. Torque model. Again, you can see I added a little bit and then took a little bit away. Again, I don't want this to shift like crap, so this was the best way to do it. Get a little bit more horsepower, but again, leave it low up top, right? And this is different for each one, okay? I put peak torque right there, from there to there, peak torque possibility. And each one of these tables is going to be slightly different, giving you the actual low, medium, and high. So depending on what mode the truck's in, it'll actually change the max possibility of how much torque it can run and whatnot. Obviously, we wanted to disable the brake torque management, make doing brake stands and shit like that easier, whatever. This is my boost table. You can see this is how much boost over stock we're running. In each table, we got to change on each table. We got low, medium, and high altitudes, and it's changed appropriately for each. You can see here that we're only running 29. We got this up here because you want to have maximum boost capabilities in like the towing and cruising range, but then we pulled it up top, right? In here, same thing. And then here is our max, okay? Nothing too crazy. I mean, like literally for most of these tables, you can literally grab the whole table and just click add 3 PSI, right? Um, and then you can play with it from there. Vane positions, most of these got left pretty close to stock. If you see, this is our change here. This gives it the solid whistle idle. Also helps keep the truck warm or keep warm the motor up down low. And then this is the max vane position tables. Again, you can see the changes. We left it almost all stock. just some of these things didn't make sense, so we just made some transitions, make it smoother. Um, Engine diagnostics. This specific tune originally was on a different truck that had turbocharger changes, so some of the check engine lights were modified for that, so you can ignore that. Um, Fuel system. This diagnostics you can ignore here, but let's say you have a CP3 or fuel pressure regulator issues. You can modify these settings so that the truck doesn't go in limp mode and that the truck is still drivable. Please keep in mind that changes to this could render your vehicle undrivable if you were to blow your CP3 up because you're doing something you shouldn't. Fuel pump. So I have a LBZ fuel pressure regulator. These are my changes made for that. Other people will do this a little bit differently. I have found that this has worked the best. Basically, we put a 0 up top, which basically renders the fuel pressure regulator maxed out and allowing it to make the fuel that it needs. Now, with that being said, if you do this to your truck, you need to install the fuel rail valve relief on your fuel rail, the valve relief block. Otherwise, you will blow through it and send extra fuel back to the return line, making your change pointless. And here's the change for the LBZ. This is all I did. Went from this to this. You have a little bit extra fuel at the top, so you can utilize the full 26,000 PSI. Nothing crazy, and you can make changes to this based on logging. Now, for most of you that might be doing an LLY truck that is not a shop, you're doing it at home, these changes that I just showed you, you can literally do these changes and never touch your truck again. And for a lot of people, that's actually probably going to be my recommendation. But once you make a lot of these changes, you can go through and fine tune it based on things that the truck is doing. If you use that fuel pulse width table that I just showed, that pulse width table will smoke like a chimney when you get on it. And for some people, that is not 100% reasonable. So start pulling fuel in specific areas to get rid of it if it is too much for you. You can go into the diesel fueling, and this area here, this is where your smoke's going to be, okay? That's where your main smoke's going to be when you start getting on it. Because when you punch the throttle, if you're sitting here, you punch the throttle's going to shoot up like this and then go this way, right? So this is your smoke area, your down low smoke area. Okay, now if you're smoking up top, same thing. Start pulling fuel here. But don't just take 5% away. Do this, okay, and go here. Like, okay, this isn't fully necessary. I did this for a different reason, so you can zero that out. And you can come here and you could take, honestly, you could go like this. Take half of this away. Okay, and then go like this. Okay, this is your new fuel table, okay? This table will be significantly safer. This table will smoke significantly less. Um, there's very simple changes that you can make in order to get the desired results that you want. If anybody has any more questions on this or wants any more videos related to this, feel free to message me and I will try to make something. But this is a base tune for an LLY, and with this tune, you're talking between 400 to 430 rear wheel horsepower, which on a 2004 and 2005 Duramax is a hell of a lot of power, and you really don't need much more than that. Anything other than that, you're probably going to destroy the transmission. I don't know if my tranny's attached to this. It's not. Um, so I will make a trans video here for the 5-speed Allison here in a little bit. But here is your base tune for the Duramax engine.